Hello punters and welcome back to another Saturday racing preview. And of course in this video looking at Stakes Day tomorrow at Flemington. Really looking forward to it, the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. So we're really coming towards that end of that Spring Carnival now. We've obviously got this Saturday, then we've got the the Sandown Zipping Classic next Saturday. So we're looking forward to getting into that one next Saturday. Usually a meeting I enjoy to get down as well as this stakes meeting usually. But obviously coronavirus has decided to, ruin those plans for this year. But regardless, we're still able to enjoy the racing. We're still able to see it going around. We've got to be a little bit grateful, I suppose, that the efforts have been made to keep racing going. So, regardless, there's plenty of winners to find. So we're going to get straight into this program. If you are new here, please subscribe on the video. Really appreciate the influx of you guys that have subscribed to my videos over the last sort of week, and particularly the amount of people that are clicking on and stay clicking on as well. Obviously, Melbourne Cup Day had a fair influx on the viewers, but even outside of those, there's been a couple of a couple more of you tuning into my videos and then coming back and commenting and liking and then going and following me on social media as well. So I really appreciate that. So like I said, if you are new, in these videos, I look at the entire program, whether it's at Flemington or Rosehill, which I'll be doing a video on that very shortly. And I'll go through the whole program and just look at each race, look at all the runners, break them all down and give you my chances in the race, but then also my top 4 selections. So my best bets and my best value bets will be at the end of the video, and I'll be putting my Quaddie selections down below either tonight or tomorrow morning. So if you'd like, you can come back and watch click on the video tomorrow, and I should have those ready and available. But otherwise, if you don't want to do that, you can follow me on social media and you'll find all these tips, Quaddie selections and whatnot. So C-Lane_racing tips on Instagram and C-Lane racing tips on Facebook. So without any further ado, we're going to get straight into the first race of the program at Flemington tomorrow. 2,000 metre race, benchmark 80. Look at the speed map for the race. I'd suspect that we'll be seeing Somerset Mulgam and Wentwood and Tolmac probably the likely leaders in this race here. I'd say Wild Vitality might take a sit in behind them, follow them across. So looks like all the speed's going to be on the outside there, and I can't see too many others. Maybe Kissinger might look to roll forward into a prominent position, try and sit in the rail, either a pair back from the speed or 2 pairs back from the speed from barrier number 9. So I'm not expecting an extremely quickly run race here. I think just be a solid tempo. And interesting first runner here, though. Horse number 1, Almania. Really interesting runner because this horse opened up in the markets at $8.50, crunched into $3.60. Has eased a little bit out to $4, but still holds favouritism. Now, it's first up here in Australia, and looking at its form in the UK, it does look very strong. But I have gone against it because I do think it's just that fraction short, considering that it's first up in Australia. It looks to get over further, has to carry 61 kilos, a couple of things against it. So while I do think it is probably in time going to be better than this field quite comfortably, there's just a couple of little worries and concerns for me about taking the $4. So I have looked at number 7, Scottish Dance. I think this horse is worth having a play at here. I didn't, besides the last start performance when it was finished 7th, I was only beaten 1.4 lengths by Serengeti Royal Order, who faces Royal Order here again. But looking at prior to that, I mean, the win at Cranbourne was quite stylish, and he does strike me as a horse that probably will appreciate getting out and trip. He hasn't stepped out at this distance range before, but I do think it is a sort of distance range that will suit him nicely. Just the way he finishes off his races, he seems to, he does have that turn of foot to finish off a race, but it seems to me that he prefers to travel into the race and get more often than not over the 1,400 metres. He seems to be coming into it really strong off a hot tempo, and that seems to be the only way he tends to win. So I feel like coming out to this distance range, he might be able to stride out a bit more and then be able to wind up down the Flemington straight and use his powerful finish to finish over the top of him. So he goes on top of the $9 for me, ahead of number 6, Royal Order, who I think is building really nicely. Good second last start at Geelong over the 700 metres. I like that performance. Third up here, so rock hard fit. Steps out in trip. It's right out to its ideal distance range now, so I think it'll be quite hard to beat number 6, Royal Order as well. So I'm going to have an each way play on both of those. Look, I have put number 1, Almania in. If he's ready to go first up, he should be hard to beat because his UK form looks terrific. I mean, looking at his most recent start, he was a 4th to Enable. Now, he was 15.3 legs behind the great mare, but he was still in that form race there on a synthetic track. Prior to that, he's performance 3 starts it back at Ascot over 2,846 metres behind Fujara Prince is not a bad form line for a race like this. So, look, if he's come over nicely and he performs first up here in Australia, then I think he could be right at the finish. And if a fourth, I've got number 4, Somerset Margam, who's hit some good form after. This horse always shown to have a little bit of ability, but has now put it together. It was a really dominant performance in benchmark 82 level last time out at Morphettville, beating Dr. Dependable, and prior to that beat a Ray of Sunshine. So this horse has started to strike a bit of form now and should be right at the finish once again. Other chance of the race, do think Kissinger it has some claims in this. I just thought the price is a little bit short. So far, its best performances have been on a soft track, so that's the slight concern for me, whereas we're playing a good 4 tomorrow. And then the other one I didn't mind as well was Excelman, number 13, Damien Oliver with the ride. Obviously, it was a pretty strong favourite last time out at Geelong over 2,500 metres. It was beaten by Reflect the Stars and Blandford Lad. It had a post-race issue there, so you can forgive that. Prior to that, it was really dominant, winning at Cranbourne. So return to that type of performance, could see it go pretty close here at the $18. Not the worst roughy chance. But recap the numbers for me. Look, I am keen to go number 7 on top, ahead of number 6 Royal Order. But like I said, we have an each way play on both of those. In for third, number 1 Almania. Then in for fourth, I've got number 4 Somerset Margam. Looking at race number 2 on the program now, with 1,400 metres. Looking at the speed map here, we've got 8 horses to go around the field. It's just a deep speed, and Ronnie J will probably roll forward from barriers 2 and 3, and Tobrek and Shelby Corbra will probably get up towards the speed as well. Now, there's a horse in this race who I can't really understand how it's outside of the field. I do think that Rock the Ring has been massively forgotten about in this race here. I think this horse got... it showed last preparation it has some ability, and I'm just staggered that it's at this price. It had a first up run behind Portland Sky and Bella Nipotina in Group 3 company. I thought that was an okay effort. It was sort of a decent way back, never really came into the race. And it seemed to be, it was on pace dominated in that race there. So forgive that. I think coming to Flemington will suit this horse really nicely. I mean, looking back last preparation, it had a fourth in over 1,400 metres on a heavy track by Immortal Love and Kukukoi, which is sensational form. A similar run to that could see this horse go really close in a race like this. So I think that the $31 is massive overs. That's going to be my main play of the race. Head of number 2, Deep Speed, who showed last start at Moonee Valley. This horse got some serious ability. He's still trying to learn what he's doing, but if he can switch himself on and put it all together, he's going to be a serious racehorse. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do tomorrow at Flemington. He's going to be hard to beat. He's the clear second pick for me. At number 4, Tommy Gold. I just thought it was a bit short, this horse. Obviously, the form reads pretty good behind the Bopper last time out at Randwick on a soft track, but again, this horse's best form is on a wet track, and I know that he has raced in some good company, and he looks to have come back quite nicely. But I just think that the 270 is just way too short for me, so I've got to have it in for third. Then in for fourth, I've got number 1, Pioneer River, who was really not a good winner last time out at Cranbourne, has been knocking on the door for a win and got that out the way last time out, and it was a nice performance. So I wouldn't surprise if it runs well again. I think the $13 over the odds. Look, I haven't put number 8 Shelby Cora in because I just think it's again massively over the odds. Coming over a Sale heavy track win on by 3.5 lengths, as impressive as that was. And then prior to that, a fourth at Moonee Valley behind Ice Slice Baby and Visasha. I just don't think it quite warrants the $3.50 on offer to me. I just think it's too short about that horse, so I've left it out of my numbers. But recapping my first 4, I've got number 3, Rock the Ring on top. Just sort of ridiculously over the odds. And I mean, $31, it's going to get the inside barrel. It's get a good, nice run if they decide to roll forward off the speed. I just think it's going to appreciate getting back to Flemington and it could be right at the finish at 31. So it goes on top, ahead of number 2, Deep Speed, the clear danger for me. In for third, number 4, Tommy Gold, and in for fourth, number 1, Pioneer River. Moving on to race number 3 on the program now, 400 metre, the Chattanooga Stakes. Look at the speed map here. There's 8 of them to go around in this. Morrissey, Sansom, and Morvada, I think, will be the likely speed factors in this race here. Now, look, I'm very keen to go number 1, Reykjavik here. I think this horse is a great price. It comes back to Flemington, a track that he runs really well at. He has been out of form, but he's been racing in some good company. I mean, you look back at last start, he was beaten it in the 2-rack behind Mr. Quickie and Buffalo River. So Group 1 level race. I mean, you can't really knock that type of form. Prior to that, he finished 5th to Behemoth and Dollar for Dollar in the Sir Rupert Clarke. So he's coming out of Group 1 company races to to come step right back in grade to a race like this. He looks really, really appealing for a race like this one here. And even the start prior to Morrissey and I'm Superman, who he meets Morrissey here again, and Morrissey finds himself at $3.80, whilst Reykjavik $7.50. So comes back to the track that he likes, and I think as well, coming back to the 400 metres from the mile last start will really suit him nicely. And I think he's going to be extremely hard to beat at the $7.50. So he goes on top for me, ahead of number 7, Samson, who won really nicely last start at Moonee Valley. It was a really good performance, holding out Passful. I think that's good enough form to suggest this horse will run well enough here. I like that first up performance, and obviously second up will suit this horse well. In for third, I've got number 4, Morrissey, the favourite. Obviously, a very consistent horse, hasn't done a whole lot wrong. Second last time out to Wild Planet. Third, the start prior to Windstorm and Buffalo River. So similar form lines there to Reykjavik. But again, I just thought the 380 was slightly short, but again, I would not be surprised this horse in the top 3. In fact, I'll be staggered if it isn't, so it goes in for third. And then in for fourth, I've got number 3, Harlech, sorry. I think this horse is, again, a bit over the odds in this type of race. It was a good win last time at the Benalla Cup. Now, I know this is obviously a step up in grade, but this horse was tried in Group 1 company coming over here to Australia on multiple occasions in the Super Clark and the Toorak handicaps. So he now comes this fourth up. He's rock hard fit. He's gets out of a distance. He's sort of found his niche, this 400 metre mark, and I think that now he's got that win out the way, he could definitely go on with it. And he looks to get a really good run for barrier number 3. Other chance of the race, I do think that Riddle Me That's a bit overs at the $11. Didn't slot it in, but the Homesman form and Age of Chivalry from last start at Moonee Valley looks to be good enough. And obviously, last time he ran here at this track, he won holding out Iconoclasm. He was won since as well. So good form around Riddle Me That. Wouldn't surprise me. This horse runs a good race. And obviously, Bold Star ran on Saturday, so 7-day backup for this horse behind Campbell Passer, Order Command, and I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't run a nice race as well. So very open for me, which is why I've gone with the 1, Reykjavik. I think it's the one to beat. Ahead of number 7, Samson for second. In for third, I've got number 4, Morrissey. Then in for fourth, number 3, Harlech. Move on to race number 4 in the program now. Benchmark 90 over the mile, 600 metres. Look at the speed map for this one here. I think Peloton and El Paso will be the likely leaders of the race. I think that Star Ruse and Aqueduct will probably try and look to roll across on the outside barriers and find prominent roles in the running. So I think they're the main speed factors. Sikorsky probably won't be too far away either. Interesting race, this one. I found it pretty hard to split some of these. I've looked around the favourite, Right You Are. I have got in my numbers, but I haven't got it to win. I just think that it might be that fraction short. But I'm interested in B Hunter here. Now, this horse, last time out, you can forgive it because it had a regular heart rhythm last time out. So you can completely forgive that last run. Prior to that, he looked to be building nicely. He had a good fourth at Caulfield behind Windstorm and Facetos. Ran home really nicely there. I like that performance, and I think that if he can bounce back into that type of run that he showed in that second up performance, his preparation, I think he can bounce back and run a good race. So he goes on top for me. Ahead of number 7, Power Scheme, in for second. Now, this horse won nicely last time out at Caulfield. It was a very good win. Has been saved a little bit since then. That was back on the 17th, so it's been a couple of weeks between runs now. And I think third up now with a bit of fitness should be right around the mark once again at $6.50 from barrier number 2. If a third, number 5, Right You Are, who showed us last preparation how much ability he has, and really keen to see him coming back. The only concern for me, I just not sure if maybe, I know that he did win twice over the mile last preparation. I'm just not sure if maybe this might be just a fraction sharp for him. When I say that, I'm confident he'll run out the distance. I just think that these horses are ahead of him in their preparations, and they might just be that fraction too good over the mile compared to him. If he was coming his first up over 800 or 2,000, I'd give him a very strong push. So he goes in for third. And then in for fourth, I do have number 9, Sikorsky. I think he'll improve immensely second up here. First up performance is behind Stroman and La Tigressa was pretty disappointing, but can forgive that run. He runs really well here at the track. He's had 3 starts at the track for a win and a placing. And just think stepping out that extra 200 metres to the mile suit this horse really nicely. So it goes in for fourth. Now, the Adelaide visitors do have their fair share of claims. So I think Aqueduct obviously ran here on Saturday, a fifth behind Outrageous and Ocular. Backs it up after that 7-day backup and comes into this again. So you got to respect that and give it a chance. Obviously, Craig Williams in the cell as well. Peloton's an interesting horse as well, coming out of that winning partner form, who winning partners also in this race, and I do also concede it is a decent chance as well. So very, very interesting race and a very good race as well. And obviously that's why I've gone with a bit of value in this as well. And I've got number 13, B Hunter. I just think it looks the right race for this horse, and it could bounce back off its last start performance. So it goes on top for me. Ahead of number 7, Power Scheme in for second. In for third, I've got number 5, Right You Are. Then in for fourth, I've got uh, number 9, Sikorsky. Moving on to race number 5 in the program now. It's the first of the feature race of the day, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes over 2,600 metres. And look at the speed map for this. I'd suggest that Le Don de Vie will find the top, and True Self and Hackey probably will sit just in behind of it. But fully expecting Le Don de Vie to lead this field up. Now, I was very keen on Pondus. I mean, you can't. It's very hard to go around this horse. I mean, it was a good thing beating in the Bendigo Cup, and then probably would have found itself in the Melbourne Cup as well. Which there was a fair few people around that gave it a bit of a chance in the Melbourne Cup as well. And obviously, Joseph O'Brien, he obviously already has a Melbourne Cup run and won. He obviously won that on Tuesday. He's going to look to win this one as well with Pondus, and Damien Oliver takes the ride. Barrier number 9 looks. Oh, I think it's a fair enough barrier. Now, if you haven't seen that Bendigo run or heard about it, I'm not sure where you've been, because it was everywhere. I mean, he was so strongly backed in that Bendigo Cup. He was sitting sort of towards the back of the field, and Supergirl broke down in front of him, and he had to run right around her. Supergirl kept coming out and out and out, so ended up pushing him probably about 6, 7, 8 horses off the fence, and he was there for a little while. He had to sort of put in a sprint to get around that horse and then tuck back in again. So with that extra effort, he flew home late, and he was a very good thing beaten. He was only beaten by 0.1 of a length by Princess Jenny, who's a fair horse in her own right. He was a good thing beaten that day, and I think he'll bounce back here. It's 235 now, which I'm not ecstatic about the price, but I did take the 270 that was on offer early in the day today, because I knew that he would come in closer to race time, and I'd even think by tomorrow he'd be odds on. So if you're keen on him, definitely back him tonight, or try and get that price, because I can't see how he's not going to keep coming in, because he was such a good thing beaten in that race last time out. Now, obviously, the one concern that I have with him is that he has had 4 runs on a good track for just the 2 placings, so he hasn't won yet on a firm surface. He's definitely a bit more of a wet tracker, so that does concern me somewhat, but I just think that the way he ran last time out, it's hard to ignore, and obviously, as I always say, you can't get sucked into necessarily horses that are unlucky or fly home late, but I think with this horse you can do that. I think he's got improvement to come, but I am very worried about number 1, Le Don de Vie. I love this horse's performance in the Geelong Cup. He looked gone, but he just continued to fight. He had that fighting spirit, which we can see with these UK imports. And I think this horse can run really well second up here in Australia, and will show plenty of improvement, be right at the finish. I think they're the 2 Quinella positions. I think that they have some class on this field here. Number 3, Shared Ambition. Look, he's been extremely frustrating. Obviously, this time last year, he stamped himself as a potential Melbourne Cup contender for this year, and he's fallen by the wayside quite significantly since then. He's continued to go around at sort of, favourite quotes or shorter quotes, and he's continued to disappoint. He obviously second last time at Miami Bound, who she went into the Melbourne Cup, and she just ran a fair race. She was nothing special, and I don't think she was ever expected to be. Was pretty well out of her depth in that race there. But the 5th prior to Persan reads okay. Obviously, Persan ran pretty well in the Cup, so fair little bit of merit to that performance there. And look, I think he'll run well again. I just don't think he can win. Number 5, Hackey, who I was on in the Geelong Cup, and look, he was gone on the bend, and he just found an extra set of lungs to really hit the line well. So it was an impressive performance, and I think stepping out to the 2,600 here might suit him really nicely, because so from what I've seen so far, he seems to get off the bit really early in his races, whereas now when he's asked to chase and sprint, and that's what happened in the Bendigo Cup run, and he sort of motored late and he got going late again. So I don't think he'll have to do as much here with over 26, and if he does do that and he gets going and gets through his revs, he's got that extra 200 metres this time around to find the line much better. So I think he's probably won over the odds, so I'm not sure if he can win the race, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes top 3. Other chance of the race, number 6, True Self's probably worth a mention, coming out of the Caulfield Cup run, which is obviously pretty strong form for a race like this, but it was pretty disappointing, that run there. And Chapada's probably the one that's worth a bit of a mention. I think that those are the type of runners that will be right in the finish here. But I think Pondus is going to be really hard to beat, number 2, so I've put him on top ahead of number 1, Le Don de Vie for second. In for third, number 5, number 3, Shared Ambition. Then in for fourth, number 5, Hackey. Moving on to race number 6 on the program now, and I'm really looking forward to this race, the Daly Sprint Classic over the 1200 metres. Really good sprint race, this one. I'm really looking forward to this. And look at the speed map. I'd say Nature Strip will lead them up. Haydock probably will sit just in behind of him, and Fabergino will be on. They'll be right up towards the speed as well. I can't see too many others pressing on for the speed now. I think that this is where Nature Strip turns his form around. He obviously has been disappointing this preparation since, well, basically in all runs, because considering where he's been in the market, you could label it as a disappointing performance. Now, obviously, there was that ridiculous speed set in the Everest, but he was a massive drifter in the Everest as well. So, but I thought he still ran okay because, I mean, in the end, the leader, Eduardo, jumped out of the race. Hawkbury on her finished right beside Nature Strip. So I think the form is good enough. Obviously, the form's good enough, but what I'm saying is that, the fact he was sort of around horses that have gone on to run pretty well in the next start is good enough for me. And I think that coming back to Flemington will suit him nicely. He runs really well here at the track. It's a 5 starts and 4 wins up the straight at Flemington. So I think he's going to be really well suited coming back here, and looks to be able to get a pretty. I can't see any of those horses. Fabergé will be up there, but I don't think it'll take him on for the speed. So he should be able to just cruise along in the speed. If he can do that, I think he'll show that turn of foot to kick away from him and win the race. Now, so if you're going to have him on top, I'm going to stick with him one more time. Number 2, Nature Strip at the 450. I'm having 2 saver bets though, so he's my main bet. I'm going to, whatever you want to put on. Let's say hypothetically you're playing the 50 for the race, right? I'd be probably putting the $30 straight onto Nature Strip. Then I'll be having a 10 each way on. Actually, that doesn't work, does it, Mom? Forget that. My maths is absolutely dreadful. I'd be putting the $20 on Nature Strip, and then with the final 30, I'd be doing sort of a possibly what you could do is a 5 win or 10 place or 750 each way. You can do that. But anyway, number 5, Graf, goes for second for me because I thought this horse's performance was so good first up, beating Fabergé at Caulfield. I really liked him that day, and he got up, and I like him again. And the reason I like him here again is because I think he's always had that form. He's always shown that he could be a horse that'd be right up to the standard. I don't think he's going to be quite up to the level of a Nature Strip or a Bivouac here, but what I find so interesting that Danny O'Brien had him listed to run on Oaks Day in a listed race up the straight, which was won by Ancestry. I think if he went round in that race, he would have won. So the fact that he's come into this instead, a much tougher race, a Group 1 level, must say to me that Danny O'Brien must be confident he's going to run a good race. So I'm going to take that sort of confidence into this and have something each way on him at the 20-1. And I've got to have something on my boy Santana Lane. I think that his running the Everest was excellent. He hit the line nicely there. I do think that he might be looking for a bit of cut out of the track potentially now that he's towards the back end of his career. But regardless, third up here, I have seen him produce some devastating performances third up. So it would not shock me if he has a really good run and he's right in the finish. I don't know if he can win, but I've got to have him in there. The horse that I put in for fourth is number 3, Bivouac. Now, can't shy away from this horse. So obviously, I really liked him in the Everest when he went around at the $12, and he got backed in a little bit late, and he ran a terrific race there behind Cacique Legend. It was obviously my second bet behind Cacique Legend. I just think that here, while he obviously runs really well here at Flemington, and his Newmarket win was absolutely devastating, and he was very good last start in the Everest. I'm just not sure if maybe, I just don't like the price personally, and I think while third up, his form is pretty good. His form overall is fantastic. I mean, he's had 18 starts for 6 wins and 7 placings, so he rarely misses the mark. But I just think that price is just that I'm not really appealing towards it at the 320, so I've got to have him in for fourth. I have left number 9, Libertini, out, but I'm very worried about her. She can easily bounce back. And I'm interested to see if Fabergé can be up to this level here. Obviously, hasn't run on a good track yet this preparation, which I know that Tiana Robinson, who WA trainer, she said that this horse, he's a firm track horse. Look at his form on a good track, 11 starts for 9 wins and a placing. So I think coming back onto the firmer surface and stepping out to the 200 metres from the 1,000 is going to suit him really nicely, and we could see him run a much better race. But recap the numbers for me. Look, and obviously Haydock as well, Manikato winner. I can't go through this without mentioning him. He obviously beat it Trekking last time out, who Trekking was around that bunch with Bivouac, Santana Lane in the finish that swooped home in the Everest. So the form's good enough there for Haydock. He could run a good race as well. But look, really good race. But I just think that if Nature Strip, he turns up tomorrow, he can win. And the $4.50 is a good enough price for me. I think he's really going to be the one to beat. And I'm keen to see him coming back to Flemington So he goes on top for me. Out of number 5, Graph in for second. In for third, number 1, Santana Lane. And then in for fourth, I've got number 3, Bivouac, who I obviously cannot leave out. Moving on to race number 7, the Matriarch Stakes over 2,000 metres. Yes, obviously the Matriarch Stakes over the 2,000 metres for the mares. Look at the speed map here. I'd suggest that we'll be seeing Graceful Glamour lead them up from the inside barrier. I wouldn't be shocked me if it didn't. And In Good Health, Paradis, maybe Nerve Not Verve might also roll forward as well. But I can see Graceful Glamour lead them up probably on her own, and then the rest of them probably sitting not far behind. Now, look, I'm keen to go with Shay Low here. I'm going to stick with this horse again. I was very keen on this horse last Saturday on Derby Day, and obviously she ran a terrific race. She flew home, loomed up to be the winner at one stage, and just maybe petered out in her run there behind Shout the Bar and Odium. I think that's the right form, and I'm going to follow her in here again at the 420. I think it's a good enough price, so she goes on top for me as a really hard horse to beat here. So looks also to get the only thing I'm worried about is that could get a decent run. I hope that Declan Bates is a little bit sort of prominent. He's positive out of the barriers, and he sort of looks to roll forward enough, because otherwise it's a bit of a tricky barrier, and she might need a bit of luck for barrier number 4 if she goes back. So that's my only concern. But she goes on top for me. Head of number 12, Affair to Remember, who was really good last time out at Moonee Valley over the 2,040 metres behind West Wind, and I thought that was a good enough performance. It was pretty. You wanted to be on speed that night, and I thought that she ran well enough, hitting the line well. And she'll obviously appreciate coming back here to Flemington, where she produced her devastating win over the mile 3 starts back. It was a phenomenal win. The way that she let down nicely there, and I think that coming back to the bigger track will suit her very well. So she goes in for second at the $11. Really good price to me. In for third, I have got number 2, Toffee Tongue, who obviously comes back from a Caulfield Cup run. Now, obviously, she steps back in trip here, but also right back in grade. So you've got to be giving her a good chance at the $7. I mean, her Group 1 performance in the Turnbull reads really nicely here for over the 2,000 metres. If she can replicate that performance, she's going to be really hard to beat in this. So she goes in for third. It's a really good each way price. And then in for fourth, I do have number 8, Aristia, who I just thought might shock by coming back into this. Obviously comes out of a Cranbourne Cup run. Odium since run well since, and Future Scores a bit of an unlucky horse in the the Hotham last Saturday. So I think Aristia is probably coming out of the right decent enough form prior to that Mystic Journey and Perfect Jewel form, and the third at this track by the Chosen One, Django Freeman, reads pretty good as well. With obviously the Chosen One coming out and placing in a Caulfield Cup, and then finishing in the top 4 in the Melbourne Cup. So he's been in good form, and if she can return to that type of form coming back to Flemington, I think she could run a really good race to the $19 now. Other chance, I did leave number 6, Paradis out, who probably definitely has some good claims for a race like this. Formed third last time out to Sovereign Award, and I Am Eloquent looks pretty good. I Am Eloquent finished a good second on. Sorry, not second. What did it finish? Third or fourth on Oaks Day on Thursday. So decent enough form there. And Graceful Glamour probably will appreciate coming back to Flemington, where obviously she has won before. So, but Havana Girl's an interesting one. Has been relatively well back to the market. I just think that this horse, it's obviously back out in trip again, and it comes out of that Shout the Bar and Odium form. But I just think that on that occasion that Shiloh had it covered, so I'm more willing to go with Shiloh, especially considering Shiloh looks pretty progressive as well. So recap the numbers. Look, I am keen to go with number 13, Shiloh. I think it's the one to beat here, but I will be having something each way. Number 12, Fair to Remember, coming back to a track that she enjoys a lot. In for third, number 2, Toffee Tongue, who, look, could also have something each way on as well, but obviously can't have too many bets in the race, but I do concede that Toffee Tongue's got the class, and she'll appreciate coming back to her own age group and her own sex. So I could see her running a good race. And in for fourth, I've got number 8, Aristia, who also thinks just a bit over the odds at the $19 coming back to Flemington. Moving on to race number 8 in the program. It is the feature race of the day, the Group 1 McKinnon Stakes over the 2,000 metres, and 10 horses to go around the field. Look at the speed map. I think Shout the Bar will lead them up this time round, and I think Skyward probably won't be too far away off the speed, but I could see Shout the Bar leading them up and dictating the terms of the race. And It'll lead for a long way, but look, I've gone with number 8, Melody Bell. I just think this is the right race for her. I'm keen to see her coming back to Flemington once again. She was narrowly beaten in this race last year by Magic Wand. And I just think a similar performance, while that was a while ago, I'll see her run well. She went back to New Zealand, was terrific in the two Group 1s over there at Hastings over the 600 and then the 2040 metres on that occasion. So she ran two good races over there. Looks to be back in form again. Comes back here to Flemington, a track that she has run well at. 2 starts for a win and a placing. I think she's going to be hard to beat, and she goes on top for me at the 440. And of number 9, Arcadia Queen, who she was enormous in the Cox Plate. She really ran home nicely late on that occasion. I love the way that she hit the line on the soft track, which is not a track she usually does well on. She obviously is definitely much more of a horse that runs much better on top of the ground. So coming back on top of the ground will suit her nicely, and I think she'll be right in the finish as well. So I think that we'll see the two mighty mares fighting it out from New Zealand and Australia. I'm looking forward to seeing that up the straight if that eventuates. So they're my top 2 in the market. Number 5, Mugger 2, obviously he was enormous as well in the Cox Plate. He ran home really nice. He actually loomed up to be the winner on the turn. He just perhaps didn't handle the turn. I'm not too sure, but or maybe came to the end of his run, but it would have surprised me a little bit because he's a horse that's gotten out over further. So I'd be shocked if he didn't stay out the 2040 metres. I think it might have been the turn that cost him, but he's going to get his chance to bounce back here, and he's a serious player in this race at the $6. And even 4th, I do have number 10, Shout the Bar. I can see dictating the terms, finally gets out of that 2,000 metres that I've been saying this whole preparation that she obviously is crying out for. She was really good, obviously, winning last Saturday at 31 to 1 as well. She won at big odds and managed to hold out Odium, obviously the 1,000 guineas winner. So while I think the form out of that Empire Rose obviously isn't as strong as some of these, she obviously comes in okay at the weight. She's 56.5. She only gives Katie Queen half a kilo, which I don't think will be enough. But so I don't think she can win, but I just think that she'll be right around the finish somewhere, especially because she'll be able to more than likely lead and dictate the terms. Now, other chance of the race, I do think Skywood obviously can run, bounce back. Obviously was one of the favourites for the Geelong Cup. Behind Steel Prince and Ladon DeVee, finished 5th on that occasion. Just never really came into it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's derived plenty of benefit and appreciate and gets that extra trip and runs well. So Glenn Boston to sell at 35 to 1. I think it's a bit overs. And number 7, Dallas Sand. He's been obviously knocking on the door. He was disappointing last time out of the Caulfield Cup. He just ran a fair race there. He was nothing too special, but the 4th of the Turnbull was really strong. So if he can bounce back to that type of run here at Flemington, I think he could go close. But look, I'm very keen to go with the 2 superstar mares on the top, and I've gone with number 8, Melody Bell, to beat Arcadia Queen. I think that's how it'll play out. And for 3rd, I've got number 5, Mugger 2. Then for 4th, I've got number 10, Shout the Bar. And moving on to race number 9 in the program now, benchmark 80 over the 1100 to finish off the day. 20 horses in. There's always a lot of horses that run in this race on the final race of the day at Flemington. And this one's no different. And I think that we should be seeing a fair bit of pace on the race as well. And I think Final Man, the Gouch, Can't Be Done. Blood Oath will definitely roll forward. Rock Tycoon and Meteorite will be up there. Lighter will be close to the speed as well. So there should be plenty of pressure up front for this race here. And I think it's going to set up nice for the favourite, number 15, Plaquette. She's obviously travelled down nicely, and I suspect, and this is a race that James Cummings has done pretty well. And I remember last year I was very keen on Esperance, and he finished 2nd in the race from memory, and it was a really good performance. And probably he's had a couple of decent performances as well. So I just think Plaquette reads really nicely here. 2nd last time at a Blazing Miss was decent enough over 1,000 metres. Hit the line really strongly. It was obviously screaming out for that a little bit further. It gets it here. If you can handle the straight track, which she seems to me like a horse that'll really appreciate the straight at Flemington. So I think that she can run well, and she's on top for me. She issued the right price, $450. Yeah, it's not necessarily a race that I was too strongly, I guess, one way or another to. So it was a little bit hard for me to separate a lot of these. But I do think Plaquette reads nicely. She's progressive, and she seems to be getting better. She's 3rd up, rock hard fit now. And I think she'll be right in the finish regardless. Number 3, Express Man. Now has to carry 62 kilos because obviously Reece McLeod doesn't claim. But can't deny his runs so far. He obviously has been quite good this preparation, and he hasn't missed the top 2 finish. And So I've got to be giving him a chance in this type of race at the $5. If he can handle the weight, I think he'll go very close. So he's in for second. In the third, I've got number 9, Messerschmitt, who I think's way over the odds of Ben Mellon riding for the Freedmans. This horse finished fourth last time out at Morphettville behind Exalt Maxine Thompson Reward. But what I really look back to is the start prior. The fifth to Yulong Stormer Jawar wasn't too bad, and he does run really well here at the track and also at this type of distance range. So he probably looks a bit overs at the 27, so he goes in for the third. Then for fourth, I've got number 16, Lasue, who I thought was also a little bit overs at the $27. Won really well both times this preparation. The win beating Zia Vera at Bendigo last time out was a very nice one. And then prior to that as well, beat Chase Award at Echuca over 1,000. So looks to be progressing nicely. There's obviously a big step up in grade, but for him, but sorry for her, but she's been pretty good so far to suggest that I can't really be knocking her. Number 17, the Gouch, obviously has to be given a mention. Been in terrific form this preparation, and I was suspected it'll run well again. The second Okia last time that reads okay. Then number 11, Meteorite's got to be the one that I'll also give a mention to. Obviously, the win last start at Sale and Heavy Track, and winning at Moonee Valley dominant fashion to start prior. All reads pretty nicely, but very tough race to finish off the day. But I have gone with the favourite, number 15, Plaquette. Just think that this looks her right race, and she looks progressive, and third up, rock hard fit. Plenty of ticks for me to suggest that she can win the race. So she goes on top ahead of number 3, Express Pass for second. In the third, number 9, Messerschmitt. Then in the fourth, number 16, Lasue. Now to look at the best bets and best value bets of the program. So, look, best bets of the program. Well, look, this was a little bit tough. I mean, I wanted to make... I'm going to make Pondus as one of my best, just because I think he's going to be really hard to beat. I don't love the price at 230, but I think he's going to be really, really hard to beat by tomorrow. So I've got to have him as one of my best bets of the program. And then race number 6. So that was in race number 5. And it's number 2, Pondus, is my best bet of the program. And in race number 6, number 2, Nature Strip. I think this is going to be the right race for him. 450 looks a really good price for me. And I'm going to be taking it to the bank. And I'm hoping that he can bounce back tomorrow with Hugh Bowman aboard. So he's my other best bet of the meeting at the 450. I was very tempted to chuck Melody Bell in at the McKinnon Stakes. I think she's a really good bet in that race there as well. But look at my best values. I have gone race number 3, number 1, Reykjavik. I think he's way over the odds in that type of race there, stepping back in grade from Group 1 level, and I think he can run a good race at $7.50. And then in race number 2, number 3, Rock the Ring, the outside of the field at $31. I think it's just ridiculous overs, and it's definitely worth a better mention than the 31s it presents, and definitely worth an each way play on it. So thank you for tuning into this video. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hope you can find plenty of winners to finish off the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. I'm sure that we will do. It has been a pretty good one so far. I mean, Derby Day was a bit of a struggle, but the last couple of days have been quite good. And prior to that, the Caulfield Guineas, Caulfield Cup, it's been overall relatively successful. Melbourne Cup Carnival and also Spring Carnival Cup for anyone who's watched these videos. So and followed me in, and obviously my bank account's pretty appreciated a little bit as well. So obviously there's been a couple ups and downs here and there, but overall it's been pretty good. So thank you for tuning in. Like I said, subscribe for new, like the video, leave your thoughts down below. I really want to hear what you guys are backing tomorrow, or what you're keen on, or what you want thoughts on that I've missed. Leave it all down in the comments. I'll get back to it as soon as, I'll get to it as soon as I can. And then also, obviously, as well, hit me up on the social media pages as well if you want more tips. And then all these tips for tomorrow as well. So thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you watching the video. Hope you have a terrific day tomorrow and have a great weekend.